Greetings and welcome back, everyone, to Into the Nexus, the Heroes of the Storm podcast. I'm Garrett Weinzerl, and with me, as always, is Kyle Ferguson. Kyle, it's another big week for Heroes, which I feel like we need to stop pointing out because almost every week is a big week for Heroes.
Yeah, here we are making up all these things in the past, being like, well, we got wish lists and some other segment ideas we might need into the future, but damn, Blizzard, you're constantly delivering and giving us stuff to talk about. And this week's a 2-for, because not only did we get the new rank system, placement matches, but the whole patch.
Yeah, it's a big one. There's a lot of changes, a lot of reworks, a lot of people getting buffs that needed buffs, lots of people getting nerfs that needed nerfs. Not everyone getting nerfs that needed them. And if you go over to the forums, you could probably see what those are. In the loudest volume you ever thought something that didn't actually have audio could give you.
Yeah,
it's fun. It's fun. But yeah, man, I'm so into Heroes right now. It's ridiculous. And we didn't even get the new Battleground, which is honestly, of everything that we played on the PTR last week, the thing that excites me the most. But it doesn't matter. I'm so excited about so many of the changes for the Heroes and the addition of Kharazim. I'm just all about this game right now.
It's been a lot of fun. I have played nothing but quick match since it came out, so let's throw that out there. I have not done any placement matches. And I am confused why anyone would think it would be a good idea to do those right now.
Because I was just really... Well, actually, I'll tell you exactly the thought process I went through.
Sure.
Cool. We have the placement system now. That's exciting. Let me go see what it looks like. Oh my god, I have to do 20 games. I better start now. And I logged 9 games on day one. That's wanted to just power through. And I came out in the green. I think I went 6-3 on day one. And then I did my 10th game this morning, and it was just awful. just the bowels of gamer hell. That was my 10th game this morning. So at the moment, I am 6-4 in my placement games, and I'm a little battered and beaten, Kyle.
You know, I probably wrote out and deleted 5 different tweets over the past 3 days. Mainly because half of them kind of had this I told you so tone to them, but I didn't actually tell anyone, so I just assumed we'd been through this enough. Like, I've been through it a lot. You know, I've seen characters come out on Dota, Warcraft 3. It is just a crap show. Like, people are going to bring Kharazim into Heroes League because they realize I have the skills, right? I'm good. I want to play this in a functional environment with draft, so they bring him in anyway. So if there's a new hero, I give it 3 days. Placement matches I've been through with StarCraft 2. And guess what? Those are awful and they're toxic. And there's the dudes who want to have fun. They show up, hey guys, this is my placement match. You know, let's play well. But there's also those people who are just nasty. And everything you do is just taken so much more personally during those periods of time.
Yeah, absolutely. I have come to the realization that I really need to start treating Heroes of the Storm like I do every single multiplayer game that I play other than Blizzard games.
No, even Blizzard games. Like, think about, you know, that patch that comes out before the expansion and what PvP is like. Mm-hmm. That's what it is right now. That's Heroes at the moment.
That's a really good point. Yeah. And what I mean by that is in every other game I play, especially like your Dotas of the world or Call of Duty or Halo or whatever, if I get in and someone starts being a jerk, I just instantly mute them and I don't let it affect me. I'm in there to have a good time, and for some reason, I don't let it shake my foundation as a gamer. But for some reason, Kyle, and I don't know why, maybe you can sit here and just do a little therapy with me.
Sure.
For some reason, when it happens in Heroes, I don't know if it's because this is a game I'm incredibly invested in, if it's just because it's a game I do a show about, if it's a game because I feel like I have a good grasp on how this game is played. It drives me just completely up the wall. I lose it. I start firing back at these people, and I let it tilt me, and I start playing poorly.
Right, where I have the opposite reaction. You saw it this afternoon when we played. Some guy insults me for my damage. I'm like, well, forget that, and just completely take off, pro play from then on out, destroy the meters. But if you want to break down, you know, why it might be affecting you so strongly, for me, StarCraft was that game. I got just so irritated and just break tables, break keyboards, kind of just level of madness. And that's because we did a show about it. My game knowledge well outpaced my actual physical skill to play the game. So the entire time, I know what I had to be doing. I knew how to counter what I was seeing, but I couldn't actually physically do it. And for you, maybe stuck in a lower rank than you should be. We'll see what your placement matches have and all that sort of thing. You are seeing all these problems with all your teammates, and you know exactly what they're doing wrong. And all you can possibly do is play your very best.
Right. And this is an incredibly team-focused game, so if certain cogs are out of sync, it's not going to go well. You cannot carry your team to victory for the most part. Asterix, this might be why I've been playing a lot of Zeratul lately, because I feel like he's one of the few heroes that can kind of tilt the scales in your favor when played correctly.
And that's why I play Assassins mainly in Heroes League right now.
Yeah, no, I'm the same. So basically, I've come to the conclusion that I need to get more zen about it. I need to treat it like I do any other random multiplayer game that I enjoy playing, and just mute someone the second they start getting toxic and just ignore it, because it breaks my focus, and I know it breaks my focus, and I shouldn't let that happen.
A good resolve, but we're not going to hold it over you, Garrett, because it's a long road to become positive in these video game environments.
Oh man, it's tough. It's something I am very aware of. And anyone who watches like the after show, they clearly get, whoa, I didn't know Garrett was so ragey. It's like, no, man. Yeah, when I'm doing a show, I'm fine. Let's talk about it. I want to have this conversation. I'm totally calm and collected, unless you mention Abathur. But then I get into the game, and man, when I'm in the trenches, I don't know. I'm just really competitive, and I slip back into like my raid leader pants. And I just want to start barking orders at everyone and control everything. And I don't know, it's just where my brain goes in games. So, unless you're a new player, I just go in a completely different mindset for some reason, and I'm like, yeah, let's teach. It's fun.
Right, but then it's more of an invite thing. I have to make sure in those situations I don't play a hero I'm really good at, or I start getting upset. Because if I have expectations, and that's really where my rage can start. Is I'm playing something I'm amazing at, and they're not there delivering on the Raynor pushes or the Diablo pickups. And if I just switch to something I'm crap at, we're all having a great time.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. So anyways, before we get into this week's news, I want to let everybody know that you can join both of us this Saturday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time for the Frog Pants Heroes of the Pants Grand Finals on twitch.tv/amovetv. Adults with Jobs is going up against Spastic Noobs. So it looks like, unfortunately, Scott Johnson's team was finally taken out of the tournament. Fortunately, that means that Scott Johnson will be joining us to cast. I'm very excited about this.
Yeah, that'll be awesome. We'll have to get a little creative with 3 casters, but we'll figure it out, darn it. And it's going to be awesome. These guys, I've casted a good majority of the Frog Pants tournament up to this point, and I have seen Adults with Jobs just do superbly. They're so super solid. I mean, they got the Jaina tank in front, and just everything kind of falls into place. They practically have formations they get into. And then Spastic Noobs is a roaming Butcher Uther comp that just destroyed just about everyone else they went up against. So it's going to be a thrilling match. Plus, who knows, both had Kael'thas's. And who knows if those heroes are actually going to stick around for this tournament. So patch in the middle right before Grand Finals. It's going to be thrilling no matter what happens.
I think their Kael'thas's will be just fine if my experiences this week in Hero League have taught me anything. So, anyways, shall we get into this week's news?
We got a lot of it.
We're on, boys! Ha ha! Let's liven up this place!
Put me to the stage.
Stay a while and listen.
And listen to your fellow ITNers over at itncast.reddit.com, where you can submit stories or talk about the jazz we were discussing on this week's episode. Obviously, the big news this week is Kharazim is here. You can get in right now into Heroes of the Storm and play the Diablo 3 monk. He is very cool. He has a super interesting kit. And I stand by the majority of the comments I said last week on episode 62, Kyle. He's hard to play right.
Yeah, but he's awesome.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm loving him.
Yeah.
I did end up paying for him with cash so I could try him out last week. So yes, any sort of, pledge I made to have a free-to-play account, I ruined that a long time ago with Christmas money, with skins and whatnot. But now I actually have a paid-for hero. So sorry, everybody. But man, he's fun. Like, totally just blowing any other support out of the way for me. Uther, still going to be my main in Heroes League for the time, but Kharazim has spirit, and a lot of players don't get that.
What do you mean?
They move very straight-lined, and I'm going to stand next to you. No, it's all about teleporting around, and I'm here and there, and then you punch the guy in the face 20 times, and then run away.
Oh, gotcha. You're talking about how other heroes play compared to Kharazim?
Yeah, for sure. I've seen a lot of supports this week just moving very mechanically. And it is such a fluid thing. Your Radiant Dash, you can use it to jump to enemies, jump back. In fact, the build that I've really settled into on him has Foresight, which is awesome. I can kind of see why they didn't want to mess with Zeratul at this point, because whenever you do that dash, you reveal the area. See Stealthies. Sweet. Way of 100 Fists, dash over them, and just... Like, it's such a surprising amount of damage. No one really expects a support to just dive on them all of a sudden.
Yeah, and that's a big burst of damage, even if you're not doing the damage build for Kharazim. So we did talk a decent amount of Kharazim last week, so refer to last week's episode to fill in the gaps. But the big thing that I really want to make sure and hammer on, if you didn't get the point last week, is that the big point, the thing that makes Kharazim special, is his unique traits. There's 3 of them that you have to select. You have to select one of them at the very start of the game. So you either go Transcendence, which means that every 3rd basic attack, you will be healing the lowest nearby allied hero. Iron Fist, where every 3rd basic attack deals 100% bonus damage. And Insight, where every 3rd basic attack restores mana. And the amount of mana you get back, if you were going Insight, it is ridiculous, the amount of sustain this gives you. It's like playing the Zagara build that I do, where you just never, ever have to hearth back unless you're trying to escape with your life.
Right, but you do fall down to those, hybrid level healing numbers.
Absolutely. Without Transcendence, I'm not sure how you can solo support as Kharazim, because I tried it and it did not go well.
Yeah, I've been enjoying the solo support on him, so I think it's all well and good. Definitely, kind of established into my spec at the moment. Divine Palm, a little too twitchy, but with time, I think we're all going to be amazing at it, because 7-sided strike's surprising at the moment, but people will learn to either abandon the area or all pile into the area if someone can't get out.
Yeah, I had one of those go off today where it was only me and one other hero. Like, no one else was there, and we were dead center, and we were slowed by a Rhaegar totem. It was bad.
Well, and he has an poop button, which I feel like Blizzard has worked so hard to get rid of, particularly on, like, Tychus, and, Chen still has his, but he's a warrior, so maybe it's okay here. But I can be so much more aggressive as a monk, diving in, just getting in people's faces, if I know I can just 7-sided strike if things go wrong, and that'll give my team time to get up with me.
Right. I have a big concern about Divine Palm, and I'm curious if you share it. Are you concerned that Divine Palm will become borderline unusable once everyone learns how to play around it?
Yeah, yeah, we're gonna have a bit of dancing.
Right. Now there is a learning curve. He's here now, so not everyone knows how Divine Palm works. And for those listening at home, what it does, we talked about it last week, but to reiterate, it protects an allied hero from death. What happens is you place this on them. You place Divine Palm on your target, and it sits on them for 3 seconds. If they take fatal damage within those 3 seconds, they go into a stasis, they can't take any more damage, and they get a big heal. It starts at 600, and it scales by 100 per level. So it's a big heal. The thing is if people... You can notice when Divine Palm is placed on someone, you see this kind of... It literally looks like a palm circling them. If you see that, you should just stop damaging that person, and once the palm disappears, just kill them dead. Now, it takes some discipline, and I myself am guilty of this. I know what I'm looking for, and still I just like, he's almost dead, just go for it, just do it, kill him, and then it goes off and they get a heal. But I am concerned that once everyone learns that you can just stop attacking the Divine Palm target, then it's going to be one of the worst healing heroics in the game.
Yeah, I feel like they may have to do some switching on the level 20, maybe switching over to if it fails, then you get it back or something, because you're absolutely right. We have a lot of abilities like this throughout MOBAs where if you attack someone, something bad happens. And ultimately what happens is this person's, they're cool, they're running in, and then everyone on the enemy team just kind of dances around, chases them, tries to get body blocks in, but does not touch them. And then you just kill them when it's done.
Yeah, and its level 20 talent confuses me too. It reads, this is all it says, Kyle. So level 20 talent for Divine Palm reads Peaceful Repose. Divine Palm's cooldown is set to 5 seconds if the hero does not die. Now, wouldn't that to you mean, oh, that means if it pops and they get their big heal, I can do it again in 5 seconds?
Right.
That's not how it works.
No.
The only way this works is if you cast it and it doesn't pop, then it's set to 5, which just means if you could do this wrong, you get a benefit. And I really dislike talents like that.
Right, but what's the alternative situation of this talent? We think, we read it like you just did, and then we say, oh, you just cast it every 5 seconds, because why not? Something bad could happen.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's odd. They've said that in the future they're going to come back around on Kharazim and get rid of his neutral talents. So he could change a lot into the future.
Okay.
They really want to get rid of Healing Ward, Protective Shield. They haven't said anything about Storm Shield, but some of these that aren't quite charactered to him that can be enhanced flavor-wise.
Yeah. And actually, just to back up real fast, what you just said where you can basically throw it on people every 5 seconds, you can do that right now with the way this works.
Right, but it has to go off. It has to save a life.
No, it doesn't have to go off. If it goes
that's
off,
just confusing.
If it goes, that's the thing. That's the thing I don't get. So I don't know. I'm confused by the way that talent is written, which is the first instance of this in Heroes. Well, no, never mind.
No. There's that Tyrande thing.
There's that Tyrande thing. There's there was something with was it Skeleton King that you were clarifying a couple weeks ago?
Probably.
There was another thing that blew my mind.
Either way, 7-sided strike. Just use that until people figure out how to counter it.
Right. I mean, if you're solo supporting, that is absolutely what you should be taking. So, and I guess it could be argued that even if it doesn't go off, chances are whoever the target was hopefully got out of the fight into safety. But that's not always the case, especially with how clustered everyone has to be to get the full benefit of Kharazim's healing. So, I'm having some growing pains learning how to play with and play as Mr. Kharazim here, but he's very fun.
Yeah, I've been loving him.
Cool. You gonna play him tonight?
Well, I figured you would. You're the stream camera. Might as well put you on the new hero.
Oh, I haven't been practicing. That's gonna be
all right.
terrible.
Well, if you want, man, I've been in quick match. You've been busy doing your placements, so I've played a lot more Kharazim.
Yeah, then you're on Kharazim tonight.
Sweet.
I'm making a call here. So, final point I want to bring up, if you haven't checked already, Kharazim's final skin variant totally has an airbender blue arrow on his forehead. It is amazing.
It does.
And then the red variant of his Jade Dragon skin looks exactly like the Fire Lord from Avatar: The Last Airbender. So good on you, Team 1, you raging Avatar fanatics. I'm so happy. I love that show. Thank you.
Agreed. Good show. It's a yearly visitor here in this house.
Yeah. Yeah, we went overboard last year when Korra was going into finale. We watched all of the original series and then watched all of the other episodes of Korra. So we're good for a little bit on Avatar. We're good for a bit. So let's talk about the patch. Let's just dive, gloves on, Kyle. Let's just go in.
Sounds good. We did what we could with it last week. We're not going to redo the general talents. We talked about all that. This is not an all-inclusive list at all.
Nope.
But these are some of the major things you're going to have to figure out getting into the game now.
Exactly. The most important thing is that the treasure goblin mount is 20,000 gold only. It's the only way you can get it, and it will only be here for a limited time.
Which is in the patch notes, but once someone tweeted at the developers, they said, oh, we're not planning to take that down anytime soon.
Ah, okay. So it'll be there for a while.
Right. The pig has been in but since basically late alpha. So we can expect it to be around for about 7 months.
Okay. Because the pig is still there, though, right now, right?
Right, but it's going away. Along with a bunch of other mounts, they're switching things out. I don't know what's going on over there.
I'm not sure why you switched them out. Why not just leave everything available?
Through exclusivity? I don't know.
I don't know. It's not like there's a secondhand market, and I don't know. I don't know. I don't get it. Brightwing got a price reduction, which is new. We haven't really seen this with any hero that wasn't a new one that was already sitting at 15 and lowered to 10.
No, I hope this is a new precedent that they're setting. Once we move in a new character of that role, we'll reduce something else in that area.
Yeah, she's down to 7,000 gold or $8.50 if you want to pick up Brightwing, if you haven't already. And with her healing change, I think Brightwing is back, so I would highly recommend picking up Brightwing if you haven't done so already. One of my favorite supports, or at least was until the last patch, and now with this new patch, I think she's back up there for me.
Yeah, and she's going to have surprise on her side for the first couple weeks, so get her now.
Absolutely. Got some new skins. Prisoner Tychus. I've been waiting for this. Super cool skin. Demonic Tyrael, which I know you are super excited about.
Oh, dude, it's badass. I applaud the marketing team for making the smart decision of putting it on this week's sale because they had to take it away because it was doofy. And now it's back. The hooves are awesome. Has some special spell effects, so I think a lot of Tyraels are pleased.
The thing I am most excited about is that he doesn't have glowing eyes.
Yeah, that was just dumb.
It's just the shadow in the hood. That makes me so happy. Apparently, Blood Elf Tyrande got an update. I haven't seen this yet. I'll have to go take a look.
Yeah, she got cleaned up a little bit. Got some special spell effects for her that are more blood elfy.
Okay, cool. Some art updates. Sony got her dance added. Tychus's face is way less weird now. And Murky's face is now way creepier. I don't like the new Murky face. I liked it when he was more, like, adorable. Now he looks like a predatory fish.
Right, and it's okay to make him a bit angrier. He sure looks pretty cool in the StarCraft skin now. It makes me wonder, what was coming down the pipeline that they had to identify Murky further by making him look aggressive. Do we have more Murlocs in line?
I don't know, man. My favorite thing about, like, the baby Murlocs in WoW is that they're just stupid adorable looking, and I kind of wanted them to keep that whole aesthetic with Murky, but whatever. Player reporting got to change up. We have new categories if you go to report someone, which I have been doing left and right recently.
Me too.
Reporting options have been reworked. We now have abusive chat, AFK/non-participation, and intentional feeding as options in our report drop-down menu.
Awesome.
Great. Such great stuff. Because I felt like harassment was really vague.
Sure, there's a lot of ways to harass someone. Hopefully this means that the team can have quicker response times to things, that are actually cheats going on. And also just negative people. Just pop them with the 3-day ban like they've been doing.
I think you should just throw them all into negative hell. Just put all the negative people in the negative thing together. So they're all reporting each other and they just stay there. They're just stuck in...
And they never get to play Heroes League again.
Yeah, they're stuck in bastard hell. Ranked play, we already talked about that quite a bit.
But we didn't know the mystery number. And it turned out to be 20 matches.
20 placement matches. That is so much. And we are hearing from, like, our listeners wildly different reports of, I got this many wins, this many losses, and this is where I placed. Like, it's all over the board. I mean, I know our buddy Daribo plays super high, but I'm hearing of people going like 15-5 and getting placed into like the lower 40s.
It seems like for the most part, if you were rank 1, you get put at 5. And that's, maybe because you haven't played in a while. I don't really know where I'll end up in that spectrum, but they want people to make the final climb in the traditional way. However, I am hearing from people who want, 15-5, that they went from 29 to 40, and that's just sad.
Yeah. That's a huge drop off. So I have no idea what is in the secret sauce here. I don't know what the algorithm is.
It's also important to note there was this misconception going on that if you didn't do your placement matches now, you wouldn't be with good placement players from your MMR. But these games are just going to happen regardless. If you place in 5 months when there's nothing new happening in the game, for instance, you would still just meet people with your similar MMR.
Right. There's nothing guaranteeing that you are with other people who are placing.
Right.
Like, you're just playing Hero League and your rank is hidden for all intents and purposes. That's what's going on. You're playing a Hero League game. It's using your Hero League MMR. You're using the draft system. You just don't know what rank you currently are.
Exactly.
So, Team League, talked about that last week. no more name teams. Those are gone. However, what we didn't talk about last week is that Team League draft lobbies are going to use the first come, first serve draft format.
Which they always have, but we were kind of hoping those bans were coming in, and they're not. So Team League is what it always was. You just don't make a team and name it.
No, we still need more supports before we add bans to the game. I think that's without a doubt. Because, Tacit and Tyrande, I don't think really cut it. I mean, yes, you and I have personally had miraculous games where Tassadar was the only support, and things just worked out. And it was like a vacation, man. But that is not how it usually goes in those scenarios. I almost felt like I was setting you up for Garrett, maybe this is teaching you something about how Abathur works out. Maybe your personal experiences aren't the representation of the hero as a whole.
You know, dude, we just got to have, a come to Abathur moment. We need to sit you down and make you play Abathur. So if nothing else in the background, when you see an Abathur do something good, you can go, well, damn, that Abathur's on top of it. And when you do criticize bad Abathurs, you at least know why.
All right, fair enough. In my defense, I have never said that I thought it was easy to play Abathur. I think he's the hardest hero to play, and I still stick by that. I just think he works in very specific comps, and you need to have very tight team play. So if you are solo queuing, it's probably not the best hero to pick.
He works in mysterious ways.
Apparently, Kyle. You know what it is? It's that quote from Futurama. If you do something right, people won't be sure if you've done anything at all.
Exactly, dude. That is exactly what it is. Because as an Abathur player, you were as busy as any Lost Vikings in the world. But people see 3 characters, they go, well, damn, Blessed Vikings is busting his buns, and everyone kind of appreciates him a little more.
That's a very good point. That's very good. No. I'm there with you. I'm anti-picking Abathur in a solo queue situation under really any circumstance. I don't think you can coordinate enough without voice chat to make it work.
Sure.
So that is my point. So let's talk about the heroes that got reworks in this patch. Now, again, we are not going to talk about every single possible thing every single thing that did happen in this patch. We would be here all night, and it would be very boring. So we're going to highlight some of the more interesting changes that happened. We're going to put it on you, the listener, to go over to the official hero site and check out the rest of these changes for yourself. First up, let's talk about Kael'thas, because he's a hot topic right now, Kyle. He got what a lot of people saw as a nerf, but he seems to be doing very well regardless.
He is in an excellent place. The previous Kael'thas player was a luck-drawn sort of guy. He would aim his flame strikes, hope for the late game, if it would come, that he would then be a god. But otherwise, he was good at one thing, and that's landing enhanced, long-range flame strikes. And that led to very bad core players for that entire beginning of the game. They couldn't gravity lapse correctly. They weren't where they needed to be. They didn't move safely. And now Kael'thas has an entire really nice kit throughout the entirety of the match that I think is going to attract more skilled people and ultimately just lead to a better Kael'thas. Kael'thas' win rate is going to go up from all this.
Cool. I'm excited.
The only thing that's really gone, if you haven't noticed, Ignite is gone. Level 16, your crazy talent that spread Living Bomb off your Flame Strike is entirely removed. Flame Strike now kind of has its own build that you can invest in, but also Living Bomb can kind of be invested in on its own. They're kind of 2 different spells, and the 2 don't cross as much as they did. But ultimately, your damage went up on just about everything. I mean, the range of Gravity Lapse went up. Damage, overtime, explosion damage, increase, Living Bomb, and Flame Strike damage goes up. It's a great kit.
Yeah, he feels super solid. And the thing I like is Pyroblast. Didn't Pyroblast get a... was it a cooldown reduction?
It was a range buff. So 20%, okay. Pretty large. So actually that flipping Illidan, who sees you casting it, most likely will not be able to escape the range before it goes off.
No, and you want to know what I've been doing? Why I personally have been taking Pyroblast lately, and I have no idea if this is the correct thing to do with it, but I have been taking it on Kael'thas when I see the other team take Zeratul. Because what does Zeratul do? He comes in, he bursts, he takes some damage, but never enough to kill the bastard because he blinks out. But I start casting my Pyroblast. Basically, I see him pop. Cause I'm always on the lookout for Zeratul. I look for the Shimmer. I see him pop. I throw my Living Bomb on him, and I immediately start casting Pyroblast. because 9 times out of 10, everyone else does enough damage to bring him within lethal shot of that pyroblast.
Yep, and he's going to blink away anyway. Plus, it keeps him out of his cloak and all that sort of thing. So
it's great. I love it. Like I said, I'm not sure if that's the correct thing to do, but it's working really well for me, and I'm enjoying it. So that's fun.
Yeah. I still think, Phoenix is the preferred pick in almost every situation, but I want to see more Pyroblast, just in the right hands.
Yeah. No, I'm with you there. I'm with you there. But I like it. I want to take it. The cooldown on Phoenix is still absurd. So it's still a nice take. Kerrigan got quite the rework. The developer said, quote, that her changes are intended as a slight buff overall and to provide Kerrigan with more options because, she was suffering hard in recent weeks.
Yeah, well, she lost all her general talents. Even if she didn't lose them, the blood for blood nerf was really bad for her. Losing that Envenom, just all of her damage was in these side little traits. Plus, she had no mana to actually cast anything. So by putting all your points into free spells, it was the only way to actually make her good. And now she has a lot of flavor choices. And in fact, I like the style they're starting to move with. It's this very fast moving, jumping around all the time, creating her own shields, Kerrigan.
Yeah.
And it's almost approaching some, Thrall levels of off-tankiness. And I'm liking that.
Yeah. That said, man, well, we were in a game earlier where the Kerrigan was getting focused and just annihilated.
Right. What are you going to do there?
Which can definitely
She's
happen.
still extremely susceptible, as is every melee assassin, to getting bursted down, particularly when she's 2 levels behind.
Yeah, I feel like I really like her, and I like her new kit, and I've been playing her a bit. I still feel like she needs a dedicated escape mechanism of some sort.
Yeah, you can still talent into it. Queen's Rush, level 13, increase your movement speed by 25% for 4 seconds, and whenever you kill a hero, it automatically triggers, regardless of cooldown.
Right.
So you then move 25% faster. Plus, with the built-in ability to do your dive, your Ravage, if it kills, it resets. If you're in that situation where you're actually winning, you're incredible, you're awesome, you're jumping across everybody. But if you need to get out, you might have to take that really bad talent so you can jump to a friendly unit, and that feels like a waste of damage.
Yeah, I would like to just see that rolled in. Because it's hard enough already. If there's no one to jump to, you don't have an escape mechanic, and you're also wasting a talent on it. It's like I'm not sure how. I don't know. That's my only thing. Like she still feels like more of a liability than it's worth. I think is what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah, I don't want her to have both though, because she has a wonderful trait that can actually hold on to a lot of health. You can build up a huge shield using it now. And so to have that, plus, it's the Jaina problem. Like, Jaina doesn't need sprint because she slows everything. She is already sprinting in that case.
Right. Yeah, okay. Fair enough. I don't know. I just, it's interesting. I'm still not entirely sure. I think I also need to learn how to play her correctly.
Hey, most important talent change on here is the Toras talent, level 20 Ultralisk. Now, no longer revives once. It instead turns into an egg when destroyed and revives in 8 seconds unless killed, which means you can have an infinite Ultralisk if you can maintain your egg.
Gotta protect your egg just like an alien queen, Kyle.
Yep, there you go. I'm really excited to see people babying this thing like they do with the Abathur monstrosity. Like, Ultralisk dies, you send it to another lane.
It's so good. Let's talk about some of the heroes that got buffs. Not really reworks, but buffs. First up is Falstad. The developer said that Mighty Gust can be a great disengagement tool, but it can also even be used to counter as a counter to hard engagement or aggressive dive teams. So Mighty Gust has gotten a buff. It's got a cooldown decrease. It got a slow duration increase. More than doubled on that, actually. 2 to 5 seconds in the slow duration.
Yeah, and I've seen it used in the exact way that the developers are suggesting, and it's cool. You have a dive comp, Tyrael, Illidan comes running in on your support, and you just Mighty Gust them all back. They are slowed by 60%, stuck a long ways away from everything. They're on cooldown, probably too far out to actually re-engage them, but far enough that they can't get back in on your team. So it's a good emergency button. But then the argument enters your head, why not just kill them anyway? And then you wouldn't have to deal with them in the first place.
If they're dead, they can't hurt me.
Exactly.
Right. I still don't see anyone taking this.
It's the old, I don't need more mana if they're already dead problem.
Yes, exactly. Let's talk about Raynor. The dev said that his win rate is low overall, and that they think using Inspire can feel clunky, and that the following changes should help Raynor feel more responsive to play. So, Kyle, don your hipster glasses. How are these Raynor changes treating you?
They're good, man. You got 5 more basic attack damage from the get-go. You now inspire and no longer interrupt your auto attack. It's just a quality of life change. It's great. 5 seconds off of Adrenal Rush, which just means those few times where you're going, oh no, it's not on cooldown yet. That's happening, 5 seconds before that time. So if it's not on cooldown, it's really your fault for it going bad. Just a great buff to Raynor. I'm loving him. And, I miss my old bonus damage on Bullseye, but an increase to the stun from 1 second to 1.5 seconds is still a good thing.
Sweet. You know what I want more than anything, actually, Kyle? I want a coaching session with you on Raynor.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Teach me how to Raynor, Kyle.
I think that's an excellent hero for anyone to learn because it is all about positioning. Because all your abilities ruin other setups. Pushing people away is a horrible thing. And that's your primary damage ability.
Yeah. Awesome. We already talked about Thrall a little bit, but just to spell it out for you, his basic attacks have received improvements in responsiveness, especially when stutter stepping, and his first basic attack after Wind Fury ends will no longer have an abnormally long weapon period. So you're not going to have your big, overly dramatic swing in the air with your hammer.
This is so great because Thrall became a little unplayable there for a bit. I know Kristen was really upset because I was teaching her to stutter step, and she gets good at it, moves back over to Thrall, and I can't do it. Every time you get in range, she starts to whine, and they already walk away.
Yep. Way too much animation on him. Sorry.
Yeah.
Looks great.
It was cool, though. It was cool.
Yeah. But
the combo.
Gameplay's more important.
Right.
Gameplay greater than coolness, unfortunately. All right, Abathur got some changes. Kyle, does it make him like a functional? Does it feel like you actually have a 5th hero in the game?
I really like these changes, dude, and I think you'll like them too, because it really enhances some Abathur solo play. I mean, quick match, you don't always have a support. They did buff the regeneration microbes up 2 hit points. It's not a ton, but 1+ per level. Like, it's a decent heal. And actually, those can really throw games if you've got an Abathur versus a team with no supports. So I think Abathur is really benefiting from these buffs all around, cooldown on the toxic nests, increased damage on volatile mutation. I mean, I don't know, dude. I think he's already good. I didn't think it needed to happen. So. And they made Hive Mind more fluid to play with. And if you're not familiar with Hive Mind, it's level 20 talent that when you symbiote something, it puts another symbiote on a hero next to it. It used to be you had to have the 2 heroes and they had to stay in range of each other, kind of holding hands, or one symbiote would disappear. Now it refreshes every second. So if you put a Hive Mind of one person and another hero comes into range, that Hive Mind pops up, boom, you have 2 symbiotes going, double your damage. It's a huge change for him.
Because with the regular symbiote, you're the one aiming it and doing the skill shot on it, right?
Right. And
how does the second symbiote work?
So the Hive Mind works the exact same way as the level 20 augment on Jaina's Water Elemental. So when you line up a crossbow and you see that secondary arrow coming out of your Water Elemental?
So you can aim it.
Right, exactly. So you have 2 heroes, standing side by side. You're in the center of the screen moving your stab around. And if the other hero is off to the left, his stab is moving, and you kind of find where the 2 triangulate together. And that's where you hit them with 2 stabs at once.
That is crazy.
Now, granted, the stab on the secondary target is half damage. The Carpus is half normal. So it did get a little bit of a debuff there. But the fact is, it refreshes itself, and that's going to be huge.
Yeah, wow. That should be a huge damage increase.
Level 20, though. So you got to actually sort of win the game first to get
Hey, I've been level 20 in plenty of games that I have lost, Kyle.
Yeah, well, there you go.
I don't know what you're talking about. Azmodan's up next. The devs said that Azmodan is one competitive build at high levels of play. Also that demons have become a legitimate option to use, and that they are removing some of the support nature of Healing Ward and Storm Shield from Azmodan. That makes sense. A lot of these guys that are wielding these talents that are you definitely associate with one specific classification. I don't understand. Why does Azmodan have healing stuff? It makes no sense. It doesn't make sense for his character, and it doesn't make sense for a specialist.
Right. Remember, Azmodan came out as a rather odd time. I don't think we even had Brightwing or Zagara yet. I may be wrong about that. I may have reversed those two.
I don't.
But either way, he was coming out as this sort of catch-all. Look at me, I'll give sight with this ball. I'll do long-range damage, but also I have this whole toolkit, and I actually liked his sort of Swiss Army build. Now his personality is a lot more defined. He is a calculating Lord of Sin that is going to move methodically and take out a lane. And for people who have already been enjoying Azmodan, this is a great buff. If you didn't enjoy Azmodan in the past, they didn't really do much to change him that might bring you back around to him. Gotcha. So one of the biggest problems with old Azmodan, Demon Warriors were useless. They did very little damage, 20 damage, in fact. And the spell cost was never worth the damage you got out of it, so people just weren't casting the spell at all. Now their damage has been doubled.
Okay. And has the mana cost been reduced?
It is not, but there is a talent that combines some of the old talents. So 50% reduced cost on it, which is amazing. And then it does increase 20% damage if you take that talent.
And the name of that talent is Army of Hell.
Yep.
Cool.
We talked a lot about, Sin's Grasp, this Envenom ability. It's great. Gluttonous Ward, it's okay. Healing Ward maybe was better, but Gluttonous Ward gives him mana back. So mostly Azmodan has some great abilities for sustain, or traits and talents for sustain now, no matter which spell you really invest into.
Okay. This makes me want... I skipped over Azmodan entirely, because I own him, I play him every now and then when I have a Diablos and Specialist daily. But I don't... He's not really my bag. I find the dunk build to be really laborious and tedious.
Exactly, and that's not going to change, really. So if you enjoy summoning things, stick with Zagara. Those creeps... Zerg units are a lot more intuitive, smart. Hydralisk feels like it has more oomph than any summoned warrior will for you.
Okay.
So enjoy the fantasy of Zagara, but if you want that calculated dunk master, Azmodan is continuing to get better.
Cool. All right. Well, I want to try summoning Azmodan, damn it. I don't care about dunking.
It's fun.
I will say, man, when you do the dunk build right and you power up your orbs and you actually land in dunks, it's disgusting and it's amazing and you feel like a baller. Pun intended. But everything to get there is such a chore. It feels like playing old school Dota, and I just bored with it. It's not for me. It's everything I hate about MOBAs.
Yeah, they were in the chat. I joined some people in the A-Move chat the other night to play some Azmodan, and it was flattering for me. I killed 3 people with 1 dunk. I was just on par that night. It was awesome.
Your Azmodan is quite good. I will give you that. Nazeebo, the developer said that they're tuning up talents that wouldn't impact his core spider build. We're seeing some more generic talents removed. He's not going to have Mule anymore, which, again, kind of didn't really make sense. I'm not sure why a swamp-dwelling voodoo master would be calling down a science fiction robot to repair buildings when he's not really...
I've never really thought about it.
Not really
I thought
a
of it
support
more
character.
as a very interesting kit change. Because now you're thinking, he has no Mule. Like, what kind of characters do we give Mule to? And if we're taking it away from Nazeebo, now we can really kind of focus on him being this assassin specialist combination.
Which is how everyone plays him, so it makes the most sense that they go in that direction. Again, not support, why does he have Mule? Azmodan, not support, why did he have Healing Ward?
There's going to be a lot of people really confused about their Nazeebo play because they took away sprint completely. It's gone. You have no replacement skill.
Right. Which excites me because there used to be someone tweeted at me today and said, "Hey, who for you is the most satisfying hero to kill at the moment?" And it used to be Nazeebo, because that jerk would go in, poison the shit out of you, throw up zombies in your way, and you just sprint away. And I am so glad that he will not be running away anymore. His feathers flapping in the breeze. I'm very glad to see sprint removed from him.
Well, and sprint is something you can completely avoid getting and get some sort of damage talent if you just have proper positioning. So much like the Kael'thas, I was seeing these really dumb Nazeebos who had terrible placement for basically every spell and their bodies until they got sprint, and then they actually kind of took off and got good, literally.
See, guys, I'm not the only people that judge players. Kyle just called Nazeebos dumb.
Yeah, well, it's the way you move. You know, every once in a while you see those awesome Nazeebos and those awesome Kael'thas's. They're out there, and they're going to be amazing. So buffs all around to him. I love Thing of the Deep. You can get 25% more range on your abilities, and in fact, you can mix that with Hardened Focus at the next level, which is as long as your health is above 80%, your cooldowns are 50% shorter. You can do this crazy Dead Rush zombie build where you're just constantly spawning stuff. And it's so much fun, but ultimately, Spider build is still just too easy to use. You don't really have to hit. You just go, oh, and throw your spiders, and they'll jump around. They'll kill people for you.
It has been the bane of my existence as Zeratul lately. They just chase you, and they jump, and they're constantly ticking on you and poisoning you, and you can't go back into stealth. I think Nazeebo is the biggest Zeratul deterrent than Monk with his reveal talent or Tassadar. It's freaking spiders from Nazeebo, man. That is the thing that puts the most fear in me as a Zeratul player, because I just can't.
Great on any turn-in map, because those spiders will jump you and you can't kill them.
Yep. So you just have to wait until they go away. It's very annoying.
One final note here is Ravenous Spirit maybe making a comeback. Damage radius increased by 22%, and the damage was changed to scale more over higher levels. So, been seeing it a bit this week. Gargantuan Stomp still seems to work better in most situations, mainly because of that spider build. It's a very, I'll run away as I throw all these things at you situation. And Gargantuan works well into that.
Yeah. I've still been seeing a lot of Gargantuans this week, and they mess you up.
Yeah.
Got to watch out for those. I'm anxious to see Ravenous Spirit return, because you talk about if I can paint you into a corner.
Sure. Wait, what?
If I can apply some beliefs I believe you hold.
Okay.
You seem to really like feeling rewarded for good positioning.
Yes.
And that is something that I think Ravenous Spirit was kind of the poster child for good positioning. If you're going to do it, because the fact that your actual physical body as Nazeebo is standing still while you are channeling it, your choice of where you are going to stand while you were doing it is incredibly important. I think it teaches a lot of players very quickly about the importance of positioning.
Yeah, in fact, I mean, you think about the meta in the past, and Nazeebo was meta, and it probably led to all the dive comps we see today, because people had to get at that hidden behind the back lanes Nazeebo. Yeah.
But Gargantuan's great. I mean, the thing that's cool about that and similar heroics or abilities like Kerrigan's Ultralisk. There's these things where if you are getting targeted as a damage dealer and you have to bug out and you can spawn these large damage dealing entities, you're still getting damage in while you have to escape. That's what I think is kind of really nice and appealing about them. So let's talk about Sergeant Hammer. We kind of sang her praises already last week, but if you haven't been playing on the PTR, then you haven't played on Infernal Shrines and you haven't seen just how ridiculously awesome Hammer is on there. But if you've logged in since Tuesday, you've probably seen some Sergeant Hammers just tearing it up lately, and that's she got a lot of changes. She got a health increase. Her artillery trait had a damage bonus against distant targets. It went up. It used to be 20. It is now 30. So I got a 10% increase. And the siege mode, it's so much less risky now to siege, which is great, because in the past you would just never see Hammer's siege unless they felt super safe. So now the cooldown has been more than halved. It used to be 5 seconds as the cooldown between siege mode, and now it is 2 seconds. Can you find 2 seconds, Kyle, where you feel safe?
Yeah, sure.
Me too. Let's play some Hammer.
It's a lot of fun. And she has the health to actually be in the position she has to make the shots. I mean, I remember, us playing with hammers and being like, you can't be there. You can't stand there. I'm like, why? I have to be in range. I want them to be coming towards the objective and get auto-attacked along the way. Now she can actually take that little bit of extra living bomb as she runs away
Yeah.
and survive it.
Absolutely. And on top of that, the mana cost for going into siege mode has been halved as well. It used to cost 40, now it costs 20. It's more or less negligible. This is a very small amount of mana to pay. So you can constantly be sieging and unsieging yourself to play the positioning game, which again, Kyle, you love positioning, so I'm sure this makes you very happy.
Yeah, I want to get Hammer now. This is a really nice buff to her. For anyone confused out there about her trait, hover over it. It'll show you a circle. That is the arrow you are not doing increased damage in. Any attacks that go beyond that are what deal the increased 30% damage. So you don't ever have to actually be in siege mode to take advantage of the trait. It just helps a lot.
Very cool. Very, very cool. Okay, this is the one I'm the most excited about. So far, most of the heroes, other than Kael'thas, that have gotten changes in any way, shape, or form are not my go-tos. But Brightwing, Kyle, she is back, man. I'm telling you, she's back. So the devs said that overall, that Brightwing's healing output went down more than they intended, which I would say that that's putting it mildly.
Yeah, she disappeared from the meta.
Yeah.
Since the Butcher patch.
Well, we watched the Hot Slog's win ratios. She took a dive, an absolute dive in the win rates. It was insane. I don't think we've really watched a hero go down that much.
Yep, but now they have re-enhanced her trait. So no other changes. This is actually pretty small, but it went up by 5 base and then goes up an additional 1.5 tick of healing per level, which by that late game is quite a bit.
Right, absolutely. It feels a lot more like original Brightwing. Like, it felt like until level 10 and you took Blink Heal, you could not keep anyone alive after the last patch. And now that is not the case. It's not horrifying. You don't feel like you're playing without a support for the first 9 levels.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what kind of comp she falls into. In fact, she would make a great monk counter because he has to be punching in order to be healing. And if he's a pig, he ain't punching.
That's a good point. I didn't even think about that. I kind of was thinking of them too as like they're kind of weird counterparts because they both have these radial heals that everyone has to be near them to receive.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's part of my frustration with Monk is like I'm clearly not clicking with Monk, and I thought going in, oh, it's a radial heal from the center of my hero. I've played so much Brightwing I could play her in my sleep. Those skills should directly translate, but they don't. The one heal that he gets off every now and then is nothing compared to the incremental heals that are going for the entire game as Brightwing.
Yeah, agreed.
So, anyways, I'm excited. You guys should pick up Brightwing if you've been waiting. I think she's definitely back on top of the support block. Malfurion. The devs said that they don't want to give Malfurion a solid burst healing option. So they agreed and have tuned his talent up to 50%. They're agreeing with player feedback.
Right, this was Rampant Regrowth, which at 20% did almost nothing, even in the late game, for an immediate heal on top of your regrowth. Now it's up to 50%. It's a decent option, but you should still probably pick something else. Still a buff, though.
Still is a buff. Not that big of a change. Malfurion's an amazing support anyway.
Yeah.
I think he's in a pretty good place. Tranquility is ridiculous. It's such a good heroic. It is such an absolutely good heroic, and is very easy to get your head around as opposed to the Monk's Divine Palm. So, Rhaegar, the dev said that we believe if basic attack-based heroes become more prevalent in the meta, this heroic could become dominant. They're of course talking about Bloodlust. We've talked about in the past. Blizzard really doesn't like it in heroes when there is a correct build, when everyone is picking the same darn talent at the same darn level in every single darn game. And with Rhaegar, everyone is taking Ancestral Healing, so they want to get Bloodlust back on the block. They decreased its cooldown from 120 to 90 seconds. That's a pretty sizable reduction in its cooldown. I don't think it's enough.
No, when you're thinking about every ability has to be on a 60-second cooldown or lower to really be good, because you just get into this exchange. I know I've talked about this before, but you get into a fight, you blow all your cooldowns. Let's say your cooldown is 40 seconds. It's the lowest heroic cooldown you can find other than really weird ones. So you're going to wait 40 seconds until your team engaged again. That means on the enemy team, anything at 60 seconds might not be ready by the time that fight comes. That gives you an advantage. At 120 seconds, Bloodlust gets used maybe every 2 fights. And that is awful.
No. Yes. Yes, it is. No, it is not good. I think is where I was going with that.
But I see this is a great step in the right direction for Blizzard. I'd be scared too if I were them, because every single fight Bloodlust going off, you just added a hero that auto attacks to heal, give him bonus attack speed. It's a little crazy. I had an Abathur on my head while I was playing Monk, and I healed through the roof because of even a 25% attack speed increase.
Yeah. Some of the numbers I've seen from the like don't get me wrong, everyone. I hope I probably am, and I hope I'm not scaring anyone away from the Monk. The numbers, the healing numbers I have seen from Monks this week are fantastic. They're great numbers. He is absolutely capable of solo healing. I think I'm just terrible at it.
And chat, you're absolutely right. Ancestral healing's too good.
Right, absolutely. And it's hard. He's a support, so the way everyone wants to go, they don't want to double stack their team with supports. You don't want to go dual support if you can help it. You want to solo support you so you can have more damage. So the only way that's really going to work is if Rhaegar takes ancestral healing. You need that big chunk burst heal. And yeah, I don't know. Again, it kind of comes back to the Falstad issue. It's like, yeah, Bloodlust is good, or we could just not have 2 healers and have enough damage anyway, and we'll all be hunky dory.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, Tassadar, one of your was this your first love? I feel like you were when the game first launched. You were like all Tassadar all the time, Kyle.
Oh, it was, man. It was. I immediately gravitate towards heroes that are surprisingly resilient. If I had to make a thesis statement for the way I play MOBAs, it is that. And being able to just ghost out of anything, shield myself all the time, as I always say. Nothing's easier to heal than yourself. So putting up shields, running away, decent amount of damage. And now he's gotten a slight buff, but no developer commented as to why this is happening. They just want him to be sort of better, but not really change him at all. So cooldown increase, in fact, on Oracle. This means that, your clairvoyances, your new monk trait that reveals, are going to be a good counter to stealthies, and Tassadar isn't such an auto pick in those situations. But mana cost decrease on Plasma Shield, mana cost decrease on Psystorm, means that you don't necessarily have to go Regeneration Master on him every single time. So he is better on some maps like Haunted Mines, where you just can't get those orbs.
Well, that's good to hear. Is that something? It's somewhere where I struggle with Zeratul, for example. If I can't get orbs, or if I can't get creep kills, I kind of really don't know what to take at level 1.
Right, or you're on a map like Battlefield of Eternity, where if you're winning the Immortal, you've got plenty of orbs. But if you're losing the game, it's a horrible pick.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's one of you're getting. Not only are you losing the Immortal, but you're losing out on 2 orbs every single time you lose the Immortal. So it's like this. You're punishing yourself even harder for falling behind in the game.
Yep. So Tassadar got better as a support, sort of long-lasting fights, and spreading the diversity for reveal units. It's a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And 40 seconds, it's not the end of the world. I think that's fine. It doesn't make it an auto pick. Sonya got a health increase. Her Shot of Fury talent no longer dismounts Sonya on activation. I love that kind of stuff. I love anything that I can activate while I'm still mounted. Arthas's Frostborn Hunger, like charging into battle on the back of your mount while your sword is glowing and ready to do extra damage and give you mana back is great. So I'm excited about that coming on to Sonya. Whirlwind. Got the heal. Its healing was reduced by 5%. The healing for damage dealt to heroes has increased from double to triple, however.
Right, so spin on top of heroes and people who are fighting a Sonya. It's the same exact thing as a Nubarak, excuse me. Too many nubs. You got to get out of the zone with his Locust. They heal him. Whirlwind is going to heal Sonya a huge amount. She may actually enter a sort of tank role if she has enough melee combatants to spin around on. So you got to scatter. Otherwise, she will tank everything you throw at her.
Yeah. She does some good damage, too. I've seen some weird comps working surprisingly well this week. Finally, in our the last buff we want to talk about is Tyrael. The devs said that their goal was to make sanctification a viable heroic for players. So if you're looking at sanctification, the changes that were made is it no longer requires Tyrael to channel the ability. All heroes, including Tyrael, will be invulnerable while within sanctification's area of effect. It only has a half of a second cast time, so pretty negligible there. But its cooldown has been increased. It used to be 50, it's gone up by 20 to 70 seconds, and its area of effect radius has been reduced by approximately 53%.
So it's real small. You got to stack World of Warcraft style. But
yeah, I saw this, and I'm just like, I don't know. I'm pretty sure people still aren't going to take this.
No, not for a long time. But there are other situations, and I'm thinking of like Gazlo bombs going off where you just can't void the area. Not everyone's going to get out. You're all piled up anyway. And then Tyrael makes everybody invincible for 2 seconds, including himself. Nothing happens. No space lasers from Nova. No problem. It's going to have its situational uses.
Yeah. Let's talk about some nerfs. Jaina, first up. The dev said that by reducing the impact of summoning Water Elemental, Jaina loses some of her burst potential unless she chooses Ring of Frost. And what they're referring to there is that the cooldown on Ring of Frost has been decreased from 100 to 80 seconds, and that Water Elemental no longer deals damage or chills at its spawn location.
Yeah, so, points to Ring of Frost. Cooldown decrease, 100 seconds, 80 seconds, big deal. Like we just talked about, it's ready for most fights. If you want the previous usage of Water Elemental, go Ring of Frost. People are going to be really surprised to even have it go off on them at all in the game right now. No one expects you to go Ring of Frost.
I'm already expecting it because I'm still seeing Jainas just as frequently as I did before, but they're all... I think I've seen maybe one Water Elemental in the 10 Hero League games I played.
And Water Elemental previously did that chill and damage when you popped it up. Now you'll want to put it in a bit safer place because no damage, no chill. It's more of a sustained damage, chase them down, get the chills off with its attack rather than the burst damage in the first place. It's a great change.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. Big Jaina fan. I'm okay with this. I always liked Ring of Frost. It was the first heroic I was using with Jaina until, I don't know if it was you or someone was just like, no, stop it. Water Elemental. What are you doing? Look, but it's fun and it's space control and I love it. But back when Water Elemental did AoE damage when it spawned, that was also space control. So
exactly.
Yep.
Too much overlap. Good fix.
Absolutely. Leoric. He has had his bony little legs cut out from under him, Kyle.
When he's dead, for sure. Which I guess he doesn't have legs then anyway, so it works out.
He's kind of just floating. His Undying trait got some changes. They said, quote, many of his healing effects during Undying are now half as effective, which is just damn good. And that pretty much covers everything. I'm not going to give you a bunch of freaking numbers. It's not interesting. But he does not come back nearly as fast as he used to. There really needed to be a punishment for him dying, and it didn't feel like there really was, short of giving your opposing team XP, which, granted, sucks. No one wants to do that. But certain maps, especially, Cursed Hollow, he was just way too effective on. And he still is. He can still be annoying. He can still come back, hopefully, quick enough to deny a what am I thinking of? A tribute. There we go. Brain not working tonight. But it's not nearly as... Before, you could pretty much guarantee you were back in time to deny a tribute.
Sure, and in most situations, like, unless the whole enemy team is dead, you would not want to spawn on top of the tribute because you would just die again.
Right.
This is more to fix that late-game Leoric that was soloing a core. And to help with this, they got rid of Skeletal Swing's ability to do 100% bonus damage against structures. Why it was there, not entirely sure. Still does 100% bonus damage against non-heroic targets, so lane minions, mercenaries, that sort of thing. Still a big, powerful swing, and your lane push isn't going to be affected, but it's a good fix.
Yeah. Skeleton King should not have been a siege hero, and he kind of was.
Yep.
So.
Warrior, not a specialist.
Yeah. Yeah. Many heroes are actually untouched. Of those, who were you most surprised to see weren't messed with? Obviously, the big one everyone's surprised about is Zeratul. We talked about that last week in the email section. So if you want to go listen to episode 62, we talked a good amount about that.
Right, there's more than enough changes here that could affect Zeratul. Even side things like a Kael'thas increased speed on his stun could be the counter that Zeratul, needs.
Right, a lot easier to catch him in that gravity lapse.
Other than that, we're still sitting on some odd tanks. Anubarak, Stitches, Arthas. Though Arthas is really doing really well right now because he's high damage. He's kind of making a comeback.
I was top damage in one game today, and I was second highest under you in another.
Well, in the Korean meta, too. He's just really popular over there. And he has not lost any steps. ETC, too. That's just weird. I feel like people went, nope, I like the old spec, and they just never played ETC again, where we got destroyed by an amazing ETC last Patron show.
Oh, geez, yeah. No, it was, those mosh pits were a thing of beauty. Except I wasn't on their team, so it was whatever the opposite of beauty is. Ugly, ugly death, Kyle. It was ugly death for us. But at least we were rocking out while we were dying.
This is probably the fastest we've seen a new hero changed with Leoric, because the Butcher is still untouched.
Yeah, I feel like the Butcher, there's nothing that jumps out to me about Butcher that needs to be tweaked.
Agreed.
I get his kit makes sense. It feels really cohesive, and I understand the role he is supposed to be filling.
In our league of play is important to say.
Right. Yes. As for, again, back to someone like Leoric, though, it was so confusing that he could siege as well as he could. So, as for that, yeah, I agree with most. I feel like Anubarak. I don't know. Something with Anubarak. I'd like to see him get a little mini buff. Just something. A little oomph, because he is hard to keep alive now.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, something changed, and it's the Beetle build. It was a lot of sustain for him. That damage immediately turned into health for him by level 7. That was a very early time for him to have a huge swing in survivability, and now he lost it. And some of these heroes, like Blizzard, could just, sprinkle Fairy Dust on one extra basic attack damage, from the start of the game, and these guys would immediately become meta. It's just that people aren't playing. There aren't pros showing off how to play them correctly at the moment.
Yeah. Absolutely. There was some weird stuff in this patch, bugs that at least I don't think either of us really knew about. There's a bug in Battlefield of Eternity. It's been fixed, but it was removed accidentally from the map pool, apparently.
Yeah, for the last 48 hours, there have been no Battle of Eternity games.
Nope. There's also a bug where Tassadar was sometimes visible during phase shift.
Yep, that's still actively happening.
Still a thing. Okay, wonderful.
Also, if he uses his sight while invisible, it leaves this big graphical glitch, almost Masingo, like moving across the map where he is. So you kind of infer where he is invisible anyway. So Tassadar, a bit of problems right now. Wait for those to get fixed.
Yeah, super weird. And then things that have been fixed, heroes that are near a Dragonite when it is killed and no longer exhibit unexpected movement behavior.
This was wacky, dude. You'd sometimes go flying towards it. You'd go flying away. It made no sense.
So it was like the old weird, like warthog physics glitches in Halo 1.
Exactly. You touch the thing and it went flying to the moon.
Just gone, Oh, hey, there's a Wheatley's up here from Portal 2. Anubarak's web wrap and Stitch's Gorge will now work properly when used against unstoppable targets, which is consistent with Cigar's Devouring Maw. Cool. Makes me a little more concerned for my Johanna play, but nonetheless, it's good that it's consistent. Malfurion's Tranquility will no longer heal him for double the intended amount. I did not know that was happening.
No, that was
crap.
Hidden a little deep in there, Blizzard.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jeez. Tyrael will no longer fly to the enemy Hall of Storms if his judgment target is killed before the ability completes. I wish I saw this happen. That sounds hysterical.
Same thing was happening with Illidan. If his target died, he might just take it straight to the enemy core.
That's just how he rages. So he's just like, I'm feeding.
Yep.
just go. Just jump into the enemy hall. Oh my God, that's amazing. That is so good. Actually, just before we finished the show notes today, the Reddit developer Q&A went up. And there was a lot of stuff that was retreaded if you've been reading up about stuff. But there were some interesting things as well. They were asked that they would see if we were going to see any changes to Diablo, Chen, Stitches, etc., or maybe even Arthas. And Daybringer said that right now that they are looking at trying to focus them more towards different roles so teams will have more options to counterpick heavy mage or heavy auto attack compositions, and that they are also evaluating intended strengths and weaknesses to them and making sure that they aren't throwing the whole kitchen sink into their core abilities and talents. I like the sound of that.
Yeah, different warriors for different situations. It's a great concept. In fact, they went on to say in another question, what are they going to do with Stitches then, in this case? And Blizz developer Daybringer said, our current direction is to point him towards an anti-mage, and we are diligently working on tweaks to accomplish this. And that's a cool concept, anti-mage. Pulling from the back line, and then when they get on you, maybe some spell resistance of some kind, some, you turn around a spell into farts or something.
That would be interesting. I don't think it needs to get necessarily that specific. And I mean, I already think of Stitches as a good way to combat anyone that's hanging out on the back line because of the existence of his hook.
True.
Yeah, but Stitches is not what he used to be. Much like Anubarak, his survivability is kind of gone to the floor.
Right, but Anubarak, kind of works into this equation. It's in the current developer mindset. Anubarak is a great warrior to plug into a comp that doesn't have enough CC already, and you need stuns. He's got 3 if you spec him for it, and that's quite incredible.
Right.
And Skeleton King, even though they nerfed him, he's a great push warrior. Your comp maybe is very team fight heavy, very auto attack single target, but you need something that can clear a quick lane on Spider Queen.
Right.
But Diablo, Chen, ETC, they're all just kind of generally good, but don't have a role.
Yeah. Another question that was asked was, where do you see this going in the future when we have, say, 15 to 20 maps or more? And Shazer took this question, and he said a lot of stuff. But the interesting thing is that he said that next week with Infernal Shrines, so we're getting Infernal Shrines next week, that they are looking at a 6-map rotation for the first week. So, we're not going to have every map in the pool, but we're also not going to have a 4-map pool, which is what we had last time when Battlefield of Eternity was added.
Right, which was a little too small.
I enjoyed it. I gotta say, wasn't that bad.
It took away Dragon Shrine, though.
They did. Although lately I've had some damn turtley games on there, so I'm okay with a break from Dragon Shrine.
Fair enough.
They go long.
So basically everything we're hearing right now is that 6 feels good. They are concerned about new players getting into this game and seeing 9 maps come next week. And that's going to be a lot of information on top of every single hero that you have to know because it's coming at you. So you can actually play this game effectively.
Yep.
6 is a good number. I still want bans.
Out of curiosity, Kyle, what would be the battleground you would ban?
Right now?
Yeah.
I've kind of come around on Haunted Mines, but that's because I learned to play as a team. Same with Sky Temple. Like, I learned that it's much easier and much better to just give up a temple, let them have it. It's a better choice to stick with your team and work as a unit. Whereas things where I could really excel by myself, like Dragon Shrine, I used to be better at because, well, the teams were constantly divided in half. As a solo queuer, as an old MOBA player, the laning phase made sense to me. So I would, in fact, get rid of Garden Terror at this point because it's just messy. And snowballs on that map are really painful because you're entirely locked in your base for a very long map mechanic.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Honestly, I think we could flip a coin for me, and if it was Mines or Garden of Terror, I would not be unhappy with either.
Right, Mines can have a very simple fix, in my opinion. That's make it like Battlefield of Eternity, and just have the monster push the lane that's most protected.
That'd be interesting. Yeah, okay. We talked about this last week. They would just pop up. They would go back underground when they're over, and then pop back up in whichever lane. That would be better.
Sorry, you reminded me that we had a discussion last week because we were confused about Battlefield of Eternity's swap mechanic. That only happens in the very first swap.
Oh.
So first time swap, they battle in the middle. Hell will go to Heaven side. Heaven side will go to Hell side. And then that's it. That's the only balance changing they're making. So that very first one can't be turtley and extend the game too long.
Okay, so every other Immortal fight after that is going to be random.
Yep.
Very cool. Very, very cool. All right. Well, there were a lot of other questions and answers over on the dev Q&A, but we had a lot to talk about today, so we weren't going to go through each one of them. Head on over to, heroesofthestorm.reddit.com to see the rest of that. Before we go and take an email, let's thank our patrons this week, Kyle. Those of you over at patreon.com/ITN helping this show happen. We really do appreciate it. This week, we wanted to thank Adrian D., Caleb D., Jaquez M. I'm probably not pronouncing that right. Dan S. and Ian K. Thank you guys so much for your support of Into the Nexus. We really do appreciate it. And if you would like to become a patron, head on over to patreon.com/ITN and check it out.
Darkness stopped calling.
Hold on. Darkness just texted me.
Okay, tell them I'm not here.
You can send your emails to itncast@gmail.com. We're only going to take one today because we knew we had a lot to talk about. But our email today comes to us from Jared. And he writes, Dear Garrett, an internet space wizard.
Awesome.
Let that
My
sink
formal
in.
title.
Yes. Yes. He says, I write concerning Hero League and more so soloing or just generally trying to find people to play with. I have been starting to play Hero League. I am about 10 games in and I had a really bad day yesterday playing. And then he goes on to tell me just one of the darn saddest stories I've really heard from most people playing Heroes of the Storm. And he's basically saying he's having a really hard time making friends to play with. Even in the A-Move channel, he says he just hasn't had luck finding people that he can play with regularly and get to know. So what would he do? Because he says, quote, I feel like I'm either not good enough for Hero League or I need people to play with. And he's having problems with both and he's not sure what. So you do an amazing show every Tuesday called Solo Q&A.
I do, except for this last week, because darn it, Blizzard, you tricked me. No, it was actually incredible. Blizzard said the servers were going to be down for 8+ hours, and then they were down for like 20 minutes. So I guess something went really well over there, and I canceled my show this past week. It'll be back next week.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, so we both actually solo queue a lot. And after you hit rank 1, and I was like, Kyle, how'd you do it? Well, I'll tell you, buddy, don't play with anybody because you can't trust anyone but yourself. Yep. I went into hardcore solo queue mode as well, and I'm still kind of there. Although after marathoning 9 games yesterday, I am ready to play some games with a friend that knows what they're doing and I can talk to and enjoy the good times and support me in the bad. I need a Heroes of the Storm wife, Kyle, is what I'm telling you.
Oh, there you go. Yep.
Yeah. Till
she goes to bed, like I'm the late night person. She passes out at like 11, just dead wherever she's sitting. So yeah, I get a lot of playtime in by myself.
Yeah, I can't sleep like Katie can sleep. I don't know what it is. I envy her. She can just be like, I am ready to go to bed now, and she will fall asleep.
Yep.
I can say that I'm ready to go bed now, and I will lay awake for hours on end thinking of the show I have to do tomorrow, the show I have to post tomorrow, the notes I have to write, the wedding I have to put together.
But the maddening thing about that is late night, you have all this motivation. You're like, tomorrow's the day for X. Like, I'm finally going to add that extra workout I've been planning to do. And then you wake up and you know what? Because you're a late night person, you ain't a morning person, and you just feel like hell and nothing's getting done today. Oh, God, what a tragedy.
I need an intravenous delivery of as much coffee as you can muster. Thank you.
Pretty much.
But no, I feel for Jared here because this is definitely something I experienced with every other single MOBA until I got to Heroes of the Storm. And for me, I think it's biased. A lot of that came down to you and I were getting into Heroes on the ground floor. There was no meta. It hadn't been figured out. There wasn't 10 years of the meta being figured out and the community knowing exactly what to do. There wasn't expectations, I guess, is the big thing.
Right, but there's no like WoW wipe. There is always a good time to get in, and that's now, because if you wait another month, there's going to be one more hero to figure out. So, you're not too late to the party, Jared, and you're not, going to suffer because of that. Maybe you just need to find, what makes you tick. Maybe you're not finding the right heroes, because I just straight up love this game, and I'm going to play it if people are around or not.
Yeah, it's a really good point. I'm the same way, and one of the things I feel like we always do say is it's better with friends. But lately, I've been having a really good time without them. It's fine. I can have an enjoyable experience. He didn't really complain about anyone being toxic. However, that will eventually come up, and I really just gotta say, just be really heavy-handed with your mute button. It's something I need to do, and the more I am with it, the happier I am. But I mean, as for making friends, I don't know, because usually I say, well, go to the AMO chat room, but if that's not sticking, I'm not sure. I have seen a lot of people in there lately. It seems like we have another influx of new players because I've noticed a lot of people asking for AI games. So I can see that's not going to help you if you're looking for a Hero League buddy. So
Right, but if you feel like you're not ready for that situation, you do need to play every single hero, and getting each hero till 5 is a great goal to give yourself in order to learn this game.
Yeah, that's something that definitely worked out really well for you. I like taking smaller chunks because there are heroes that I know I'm just not interested in, Abathur being one of them. However, one of them was also Murky, and then I finally tried Murky, and come to find out, man, I love playing Murky. He is really fun and has a really fun kind of core loop of how to play him. I like that quite a bit. So I don't know, man. I would say if you're intimidated by Hero League, I would go back to Quick Match. I do it all the time. I do not play only Hero League. I can't do it. It stresses me out. Sometimes I just want to knock out my dailies, play whatever hero I feel like playing, and just relax. And for me, that is what Quick Match is. That's where I go to relax. I still want to win. I still want to play well. That's where I go to relax, where I grind out XP on heroes I want to unlock different skins or variants on. And I recommend that. Set your own goals, whatever those goals may be. Like Kyle said, is it get every hero to 5? Try that. For me, is it get the cool red tint on Zeratul so everyone doesn't think you're a noob Zeratul because you're jumping in with your normal green skin? Do that. Set your own goal. Even if it's just go in every day and do one daily. I get mad.
Keep that box clear.
I get mad burnout on Hearthstone. If I have a month where I'm like, I'm pushing the ladder, at the end of that month, I am so done. And what I do then is I then just start focusing on dailies, and I make sure to play a different deck every day and have fun with it. And it sounds like you might just need to do that in Heroes. Don't just beat your head against the Hero League wall because you think that's where you need to be. Try some new things until you find what is fun, and then keep doing that.
Right, and really general things don't really work in the A-Move chat sometimes. If you just say, looking for Quick Match, people don't know where you're going with it, if you want voice chat or not. So be absolutely clear. I mean, I get people for games in there sometimes. I'm just like, cruddy Skeleton King, let's do this. And people like to jump on board because everyone knows the tone of what's going down.
That's hilarious. Yeah, no, I feel for him here. And I definitely have off weeks with Hero League where I'm just like, I am never coming back.
Oh, dude, I play 3 heroes in Heroes League. It's a serious land. I really love it when I want to throw down, but Quick Match is just plain fun.
I have a very binary pick habit right now in Hero League because again, I listen to you and you're like, well, just narrow it down to your best heroes. So right now, this is how Garrett picks in Heroes League. What map is it? Hover over Zagara. If Zagara doesn't get taken, I play Zagara. If Zagara gets taken, oh my god, panic pick. That's pretty much. Actually, it's been Zeratul if Zagara gets taken.
Those are both good choices.
Yeah, and I've been forced to support only one game so far, and we did lose that game, and I did not have a good time doing it. I am so done supporting.
Yeah, same for Warriors for me. It's just frustrating to me.
Yeah.
At times, but we'll see how these placement goes. I'm excited to come back next week and talk about how that went for me. But I'm giving myself the time to have the best games I can control to have.
Yeah, that's a really good point. So, yeah, that's I would try different things. I like to get everyone to 5. That's a good, just easy, just do it. Free to play week. Try out a new hero. Get them to 5. Have fun with it. Do Quick Match. Take some of the pressure off of yourself. Anyway, especially now, that's what I did yesterday. I burnt myself out. I looked at those 20 placement games I had to get done. I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna grind this. Let's go. And I'm not sure that was the best of decisions.
I think if they continue to add quests like they have with this kill 50 treasure goblins, Jared here won't even have to make up his own goals. That's a great quest, and I'm really enjoying filling it out.
Agreed. That is something that is definitely keeping me hit next game. I want it, man. I want that treasure goblin portrait. Also, did you see the other new portraits that were added, or have they just been in there and I haven't noticed? There's like the Forsaken logo from Warcraft 3, and you get it for, I think, hitting 10 with Stitches and Sylvanas.
Yeah, we brought it up really briefly, but it is cool that you can combine heroes to get a single portrait for them.
Yeah, my problem is all of them are combinations of heroes that I probably won't get anytime soon.
No, and there's the Leaders of Hell or something. Azmodan isn't part of that achievement, Blizzard. You gotta fix that.
What?
I know, right? It's Leoric, Diablo, and who's the other? I think it may even be... Do we have another loadout? I'm forgetting. But Azmodan's not in there.
Huh, strange.
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you there. All I know is this is the most excited for portraits I have ever been in any game ever, and I don't know why.
That's 'cause it's numbers, dude, right?
Numbers?
It's that there are so many that it actually feels like you're achieving something, whereas in StarCraft, it's like, play forever and pick from 5.
There were more than 5. But yeah, it just kind of happened. Like this, you have to have a goal. It's like, well, I need to combine these two and get to this. It's cool. I like it. Keep doing it. Team 1, great job. This has been I think this is a really good patch. Just overall, I like the changes that were made. I understand them all. I think they did a good job. Nothing seemed too heavy-handed. I'm very happy with it.
Oh, and I'm so happy with this philosophy. If they can go across other heroes and continue this, Nazeebo didn't touch the spider talents, but made everything else better and more options. Kael'thas, I had to get rid of the problems, but better, more options.
Yeah, I see a split in the mindset of Kael'thas right now. I see a bunch of people who are like, Living Bomb build is where it's at, all Living Bomb, all the time. And I kind of fall into that camp. But then there's a lot of Kael'thas who are still all about the Flame Strike build, and they think the Living Bomb build is a little too much of a liability. If you're not getting, if your opposing team has good movement and they're not spreading the Living Bombs, and you're not getting nearly as much damage out of it.
Sunfire Enchant build. Come on, do it, everybody. It's good.
Okay.
It's so good. No one expects a double damage auto attack from Kael'thas. I got a lot of kills this week.
Oh my god. He attacks so slow. If he attacked faster, I would agree with you.
It's only one attack, though, so yeah, it doesn't matter how slow it moves. Here comes the train. Choo-choo.
Yeah, I do not agree with you, sir. Anyways, that's going to do it for this week's episode of Into the Nexus. Patrons, hang around. We're going to do some after-show games. As always, ITN is directly supported by our badass patrons. They are helping these episodes happen. You can become a patron by going to patreon.com/ITN. We thank you for your support. And we also thank you for your iTunes reviews. This week, we wanted to thank Ben Tobin, I Am Jake, who said, their voices and subject matter are both quite alluring.
Ooh.
I like that. Chad Emble, thank you. Saberade, who left a review that is a bit on the lengthy side, but I just have to read it. He said, my mama always told me, leave them wanting more. So I was only going to give this show 4 stars. But ITN is so good, I'm not listening to my mama today. I'm sure Garrett and Kyle will take me in when mama kicks me out. Won't you guys? Come on over, Saberade. We'll hang out. I'll order pizza. Wait till your mom calms down. It'll be a good time. I just got WWE Network. We'll watch some wrestling. And also thank you to Slad19. Thank you guys for your iTunes reviews. We really do appreciate them. Into the Nexus is produced by amove.tv and our Patreon producers, Declan H. and Edward L. You can see more about this and all of the other AMove shows on amove.tv. Our email is itncast@gmail.com. Our subreddit is itncast.reddit.com. Get all of our VODs and other shows over on youtube.com/amovetv. We are live every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on twitch.tv/amovetv or on alphageekradio.com. You can follow us on Twitter at ITNcast and check out briangriffithmusic.com. He made our intro music, and I love it, so go support him. Kyle, where can folks find you?
You can find me this week, for sure, on my solo Q&A show Tuesdays at 1 p.m. Pacific time on twitch.tv/amovetv. You can also find me on other shows. This past week, I was on Stormcast episode 55 talking about Gazlo and my love for him, spreading the good word. Over on Heroes Power Hour, I joined them for episode 28. So if you just joined podcast this past week and were looking for hero shows, I apologize because you heard a ton of me.
I didn't know you were doing this either. I just kept seeing the ITN Twitter blow up with other podcasts saying you were on their show. I'm like, is Kyle doing a coup? Is he leaving? What's going on?
I'm not going anywhere. It's just that Stormcast was scheduled like a month ago, and then Heroes Power, they needed one more guy. They gave me like 3 days notice. I said, sure, why not? So it just kind of all landed on the same way with Frog Pants All-Star or the Frog Pants Throwdown happening this past weekend. Oh my goodness. I didn't shut up about Heroes for a good 48 hours straight.
You have just leveled. You achieved Super Saiyan rank in your Heroes knowledge, sir. Like you're all about it. I feel like there was a time when we were doing shows about other games that we liked, but it was definitely a chore to kind of stay on top of it. And I feel like this for both of us, it is so not that. Like I just want to play. I just want to play, and I just want to learn more. And that's definitely the case with you. Like, holy crap, dude, you're casting your ass off. You're guesting on every podcast. I'm pretty sure you're just going to go make another Heroes podcast so you can guest on it.
Guest on my own show. It's
been fun, man. There's something about this game. There's something about Heroes that has hit me in a way that no other game really has.
It's that Super Smash Bros. Energy behind it. For me, it's just years, and God, I've been saying forever, 13 years, so it's probably like 18 years now or something ridiculous of playing these kind of games and just being able to like turn in all that knowledge into this juicy cake I make called ITN is just a thrill. And thank you again for everyone's support in this show so I can invest this kind of time into it. We both love doing this. We want to do it more for you all, so thank you again.
Yeah. We are taking steps closer and closer to our dream of doing this kind of stuff full time. So thanks, everyone. Really do appreciate it. And just because we aren't running ads at the top of the show anymore doesn't mean that you can't still use these awesome codes. Use the code ITN over at doghouse.systems.com. It'll get you a 120 gigabyte solid-state drive added onto your gaming rig. I've got one of mine. Actually, this weekend I swapped out my 120 for a 500 gigabyte solid state drive because I needed more, man. I needed more power. I love it.
I'm so jealous.
It's so good. I've got my OS and my games on there, and it's amazing. It's so good. Oh, God. Guys, get yourself a solid state drive. Also, use the code ITN over at tweakedaudio.com to get yourself some amazing earbuds. I love them. They're affordable. They're even more affordable with the code ITN. You get 30% off. You also get free shipping. This also applies to our friends across the pond in Europe. Check them out, tweakedaudio.com. Follow me on Twitter at GarrettArt. Check out nomoonart.com for my graphic design work. That you can also email me over at nomoonart.com if you're looking for a graphic designer for anything. Go check it out. A lot of stream overlays. I've done card games, board games, box design. You name it, I've probably done it at some point. Come on, check it out. And go check out the Angry Chicken as we march ever closer to the release of the Grand Tournament and also our 100th episode. Holy shit.
Wow. Time flies.
Yeah. I feel like we need to jump back on StarCast just till we hit 200, just so we can keep things in check.
So you can let all these naysayers, these uppity angry chickeners, let them know what's up and what a real podcast looks like. 200.
200, bam!
That's what it looks like.
I don't know what you're talking about. The Hearthstone audience is so much kinder and sweeter than the StarCraft audience ever was.
Yeah, well, that's pretty true.
Yeah.
Though
Absolutely.
just as opinionated.
Also true. We do have our naniwas of the Hearthstone world. So.
Do you think I'll be able to make a actual gentleman's beast come this expansion? Like just nothing but beasts, no gimmicks, creatures all day. Maybe. I want a green deck, basically, is what I'm asking.
You're definitely closer to it than ever before.
I need trample.
It is indeed adding more beasts, which means you are closer to making a beast deck, but I don't know how much you're going to get an actual deck that is nothing but beasts. That is, obviously you'd have to go with Hunter. I'm not sure if you'd still have a curve that made sense, is what I'm getting at.
Fair enough.
I'm not sure you have enough 2-drops, 3-drops, 4-drops, 5-drops, etc. to really get you through the curve and still be a good deck. So, we'll see. We'll see, Kyle. But, I don't know. There's some kind of, I forget what it was. There was some kind of horse that was a beast that had the joust mechanic that seemed to be working pretty well. You got in the brawl and played it. I'm sure you saw it.
Yeah. The 5/3 horse with no rider.
Yeah. It's just
actually I kind of like that because Inspire, the dudes who you flip over are supposed to be the riders, and I get the role playing element. It's cool.
Yeah, but there's a lot of joust cards that aren't just mounts.
Yeah, maybe 2 people get on that mount then.
A tandem horse.
Yeah, built for 2.
Wonderful. Well, everyone, thanks for tuning in. We had a good time this week. We'll see you in the after show games and next week for Into the Nexus 64. Good luck and have fun.
Take care.